This morning in Living Healthy, if you suffer from common ailments such as Lyme disease or even something as simple as a sinus infection, there's a place that can help you on the path to getting better. We recently dropped by Advanced Cell Training in East Greenwich to learn all about their great work.
If you have a chronic illness like Lyme disease, MS, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, we believe you have cells behaving badly. So it's our goal to get you to train your body at the cellular level to perform just like those people that are not sick.
That cell training is key to it all, and they're the experts.
If we can train the body to do something it was never designed for, why can't we train the body to do what it is designed for if it's not doing it properly? Your immune system is in your DNA. Golfing is not. It's actually easier to train your body to do what it already knows rather than something totally foreign.
It's an extremely fascinating process that takes commitment.
We rely on three things to be constant with the cells. The cells have memory, the cells have a separate intelligence from the brain, and the cells communicate. So if I can communicate with my nervous system, which controls my musculoskeletal system, why can't I communicate with my immune system, digestive system, respiratory system, and so on? That's what we're doing at ACT. We're communicating with the body at the cellular level. Before I go into this method of muscle testing, I want to tell you about one of my clients, because results really matter. And as I said before, it doesn't matter how you get results as long as you do. I don't care if somebody waves a rubber chicken over my head and says abracadabra. If my symptoms get lighter, I'd be crazy not to continue that. I hope you all agree. Okay, so I had this client, she's a therapist, and she had severe pelvic pain. She had it for 20 years. She's 52 years old. And we did the emotion code on her, and I muscle tested her at a distance. This wasn't in my office. I muscle tested her and I found 4 trapped emotions. I found anger, bitterness, hatred, and resentment. And then I muscle tested it and went back to the age of 32. So I narrow it down in a hurry. I just asked the question, did this happen after the age of 40? No. Did it happen after the age of 35? No. Did it happen after the age of 30? Yes. Did it happen at age 30? No. 31? No. 32? Boom. I get a yes. So it goes back 20 years to age 32. So I asked her, I said, what the heck happened to you at age 32 with these negative emotions, anger, resentment, hatred, bitterness? She says, oh, I had a hysterectomy. I said, well, what do those emotions get to do with hysterectomy? She said, oh, it was a botched hysterectomy. The doctor nicked a nerve and she bled out internally, and there were complications and she had a lot of pain, and then there was a malpractice suit. So anger, bitterness, resentment, hatred towards the doctor. And then I tried to release those trapped emotions from her body energetically, and they wouldn't budge. None of those emotions would leave her body. And I said, oh, great. Why wouldn't they leave? Well, that's when my intuition kicked in, and I said, wait a minute. She doesn't forgive this doctor. She doesn't forgive her at all. Not only doesn't she forgive her from her mind, she doesn't forgive her from her heart. So what I've found in my practice is that unforgiveness is a huge obstacle in healing, whether it be emotional or physical. Unforgiveness. It's crucial. And I asked her, I said, can you forgive this doctor? She said, oh no, I'm not forgiving that B-I-T-C-H. I said, well, get used to the pain, because you're going to have it for the rest of your life if you don't forgive that doctor. She says, what? I said, yeah, you got to forgive that doctor if you want to get rid of that pain. She said, "You're crazy. I hate you." She knew I was right at that point. That's why she hated me. So I convinced her to at least try to forgive this doctor. And through her intentions alone, now her body released all 4 of those trapped emotions from her body. Anger, bitterness, resentment, and hatred. Boom. And she had a lot of pelvic pain. So on a scale of 1 to 10, she was like an 8 when I spoke with her. So at the end of the 90-minute session, I asked her, I said, "How's the pain now?" She says, "I don't know. Let me get up and walk around." So she did. She got up and walked around. And she said, "Maybe it's just coincidence."
Where's she from?
Where's she from? I can't tell you that.
Oh, maybe you had an accent. All of a sudden there was an accent. Like, she's down south or something.
She is.
Okay,
She is.
okay.
She is down south. But I don't like to use her name in this
Right, I hear you.
story or where she's from.
Yeah.
Yeah. But after we released it, she walked around and she said, "Yeah, it actually is not as bad." So on a scale of 1 to 10, it was an 8 when we started. Now it's down to like 5 or 6, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a text from her the next day, 50% better. Whoa, that's awesome. And then I get a message a week later. Pain's gone. 20 years she's been suffering with this pelvic pain because she holds a grudge against the doctor. She wouldn't forgive her. So we release those trapped emotions and boom, bye-bye symptoms, bye-bye pain. Just like that.
How much do you charge? I'm that serious.
Yeah, how much do you charge?
It's on his website.
I have, on my website there, have you given them the website?
Yes.
Hey, you can write it down on your website so we can.
Yeah. So
What?
you can contact them.
You can come up to the front and everybody can get a card.
I know the people who pay attention.
The subconscious mind holds answers to all the questions you ask. But the muscle test is only as good as the questions you ask. So any good detective knows if you don't ask the right questions, you're not getting the right clues, therefore you're not solving the crime. If you can learn how to muscle test, it makes life so much easier. And I can use this dowsing rod, or I can do it manually. Now, I'm going to show you the manual method on Miss Suzanne.
Yes.
Okay, if you can, this way, so you can see it there. All right, now face me. Okay, so the first thing I do is get a baseline. Are you well hydrated today?
Yes.
Ooh, you are, and lemons too. Drains the lymphatic system really well. It does. It's got lithium in it. Lithium, the element from the earth, not the drug.
Mm-hmm.
And lithium drains the lymphatic system really well, gets toxins moving out. So it's good that you have the lemons in the water. Yeah. So the first thing I do is get a baseline, make sure that you are testable. So I want you to put out your right arm, and I want you to resist as we ask a question. I'm going to ask a question that everybody knows the answer to. Okay? We're going to see. Now, you're going to give resistance, but not Hercules, okay? Just normal resistance. And I'm going to ask a question. And if we get strength, that means yes. If we get weakness, it means no. So here's strength. I'm going to say yes, strength. And here's weakness. No. So we can get true or false from the subconscious, yes or no from the subconscious. All right? But there's no multiple choice. Okay, I wish there was. It would make things so much easier. All right, so is your name Sally? Weakness, that's no. Is your name Suzanne? Strength. Getting a yes. Okay. So, are we in Hudson, New Hampshire? No. Are we in Lawrence, Massachusetts? Strong. See, that's muscle test. You just ask questions and you get answers. Your subconscious is sending a message down your arm, right to your wrist and hand, to either stay strong for yes or relent for no. And it just goes weak. I don't care if I've got a bodybuilder come in here and put out his arm with 19-inch pythons. His arm's going down if his name's not Sally. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's the muscle test, doing it manually.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. You can sit down now.
All right.
Now let me go to this whiteboard. Some of you saw me drawing on that. You've probably seen analogies with an iceberg before. So, tip of the iceberg is your conscious mind. The Goliath below the surface is your subconscious mind. And this is where I play, below the surface. But the great thing is that when you muscle test, you're not just dipping into someone's subconscious mind. You are tapping into universal knowledge. That's the ocean that this is submerged in. So we can find out things that your subconscious doesn't know the answer to, and mine doesn't either. Example of that, this woman in Portland, Oregon called me and said she had food poisoning. And through my experience, I know that it's likely toxins. It's not bacteria or parasite. So I fully expected to be taken to my manual to the area for toxins, and my muscle test took me to the category for vitamins. And I'm like, what? This doesn't make sense. And I'm thinking, maybe my muscle test is off, I need to clear my energy. I was doubting my own muscle test. And I had a voice at the back of my head saying, don't doubt the muscle test. It's highly accurate. I said, okay, I'm gonna go with it. So I start muscle testing all the vitamins. Vitamin A, nope. Vitamin B, nope. Vitamin C, nope. Vitamin E, nope. Vitamin D, boing. Vitamin D increase. So I'm like, what's that got to do with food poisoning? This woman's very sick. So I went to Google. I put in vitamin D connection with food poisoning. And up popped all these search results, and the top one was the doctor's blog. And the article's title read, Rampant Increase in Food Poisoning Due to Vitamin D Deficiency. I didn't know that. My client didn't know that. How the hell did the muscle test know that? Universal knowledge. Your subconscious is connected to that vast ocean that is universal knowledge. If you ask the right questions through the muscle test, there's nothing you can't get in return. The body will respond. Yes or no, true or false, but it's not going to go gray areas. It's not going to give you multiple choice. So you got to know what questions to ask, and that comes through in experience and intuition. Trust your gut. Trust your intuition. And the same thing happened months later. She was delayed in her speech. Sophia was only saying mama, dada, when other kids were stringing together sentences and had a vocabulary of like 30 words. So Shannon came to me and said, Dad, can you do that thing again? I said, sure, I'll do that thing again. And this time there were no inherited trapped emotions. This time the muscle test identified birth trauma. And this was because Sophia was born with the cord wrapped around her throat. And every time Shannon pushed, Sophia's heart rate would go up because the cord was tightening every time Shannon pushed. So that's where the trauma was. Where does that speech come from? Vocal cords, larynx. So all the trapped emotions were stored in the throat area. So we released those. And I didn't do it on her physically because she was in bed sleeping. So I did it by proxy that night. And then the next morning, Shannon, I let her sleep in and I took the baby downstairs. And I had her play this game where she throws these colored balls up against the wall. And then I tell her which ball to get and bring back to me. And she knows all her colors. She can't say them, but she knows all her colors. So I said, go get me the red one. She brings me back the red one. So we're playing fetch. I said, go get me the green one. She brings me back the green one. I said, go get me the purple one. She grabs the purple one, brings it back, puts it in my hand, and says, purple. Shannon, wake up! She's talking!
Aww.
So Shannon comes down and says, What'd you say? What'd you say? I said, she said purple. She said, Sophia, say purple. She was just said it for me. So later that night, she's saying purple like crazy, and then she's saying blue, and then she's saying red. And before you know it, she's got a vocabulary of 30 words after a week and a half. Good job.